Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to try to do a nice spring look using some brand new drugstore makeup. Now some of this drugstore makeup is new, some of it is just new to me, but I thought we would do a nice spring look. The temperatures are starting to get a little warmer, the sun's starting to come out, and I know if you're anything like me, you're starting to think about spring and the different kind of spring looks that you don't always reach for in the dead of winter. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around and let's have a little fun. So I've got my skincare on already, and then I did do a few steps just to make sure this kind of goes smoothly. First and foremost, I used a new primer for me. This is the number 7 Airbrush Away Pore Minimizing Primer. This is a fragrance-free silicone primer for mattifying skin. I've used this a few times. I really like it. It does have a pretty strong kind of medicine-y smell to it. So, you know, if you want your primer to smell like marshmallows or roses, I would not use this. But it doesn't really bug me. It dissipates very quickly. But what I've been really impressed with this primer is it definitely keeps my oil away. I have trouble finding good drugstore primers, and this one I've been quite impressed with. I have that on, and then of course I have my eyeshadow primer. This is my favorite eyeshadow primer. This is the Milani eyeshadow primer, so I already have that on as well. I'm a big fan of eyeshadow primers. I have oily lids. Eyeshadows kind of fall off my lids throughout the day, so using an eyeshadow primer is absolutely necessary for me. And then I also did my brows. Now I had chosen a new product for me for this video. I had chosen the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt just because brow gels are my favorite brow products. Luckily, I do have a lot of brows, so I tend not to have to fill in that much. But I'll be honest, I used this twice. I hate it. It is so crunchy on my eyebrows. I am like, oh no, I just can't. And also, if you make a mistake I find with brow gels, I commonly make mistakes just because of the way the wand is. And I try to just touch it to wipe it away, which I can do with other brow gels, and it smeared all over my lids. So this is a no for me, unfortunately. I definitely just grabbed a drugstore eyebrow pencil that I own. This is from e.l.f. This is their Instant Lift brow pencil. I'll put all of these products down below, but this is a really nice, just simple eyebrow pencil, and so I was able to grab this in a pinch. So that's everything that's on my face so far. So the first product that I reached for, I wanted to reach for one of the new tinted hydrators, tinted moisturizers that the drugstore has been launching. There are 2. I picked up the first one, and again, I tried it twice and I just can't use it. This is from L'Oreal. This is their Skin Paradise Water Infused Tinted Moisturizer. This just broke me out so bad. I was an oil slick within an hour of it going on. So this was an absolute no for me. So I'm not gonna use it today, but what I am gonna use is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This is the Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator, and this is in the shade Fair. So I've used this once or twice. Spoiler alert, I really do like it. It is a sheer to, it says medium buildable, but this is definitely kind of a light tint. It's got a light tint to it. You can build it up a little bit, but you know, I don't know about you, but when I reach for these tinted hydrators, I'm not exactly looking for full coverage. You know, this is meant to be more of a, you know, like no makeup day, something no fuss, no muss. And that's kind of what I'm reaching for. So I'm going to use a brush for this. Everyone's got their own way, but I've used beauty blenders and sponges before, but I tend to really like using brushes versus my fingers or sponges, at least for foundation. It just tends to be my application of choice. You know, the key, of course, is to make sure it all gets blended in. So already I can see that this doesn't cover everything. It's not going to cover all my redness. It's not going to cover all my imperfections, but I really like the finish on it. It's very simple to apply. It's not super streaky, which is great. I've worn this a few times, and what I really love about it is the finish. It has kind of a natural matte finish. I find a lot of tinted moisturizers to be super glowy, and again, with my combination oily skin, I just tend not to be able to use them. So you can see, you know, it just kind of perfects everything. It's got a tiny bit glow to it, but nothing crazy. You know, I don't look like a disco ball, which is nice because I find that sometimes that is the problem with a lot of tinted moisturizers. So next, I'm just gonna grab for one of my oldie but goodies. This is the Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline for concealer. I haven't picked up any new drugstore concealers, so if anyone has any recommendations. I really like the Milani Conceal and Protect, but I haven't tried any new ones recently. This is kind of my go-to from a drugstore perspective. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pat that in. It's funny, I use a brush for my foundation, and then of course I use a sponge for my concealer. You know, to each their own at the end of the day. Easter's coming up soon. Now that my husband and I are vaccinated and my parents and my in-laws are vaccinated, it'll be nice to see them at Easter. I usually host Easter every year, so it's going to be nice to see them because now we can actually gather and feel comfortable doing that. But I also feel very unprepared this year. I think it's because last year was such a low-key event that I'm like, oh crap, I have to actually host people again. And that's kind of freaking me out. But, you know, it'll work. It'll be fine. I have a feeling expectations are going to be kind of low. All right, so next we're going to move into powder. So I set my concealer just because, again, I have oily skin. I need to set my concealer. I love this powder. Again, this is not new, but it's also drugstore. This is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate. This is one of my favorite powders. I am a huge fan of this. I love it under my eyes. I actually love it to set my foundation on the rest of my face as well. So I'm just picking up, this is a e.l.f. blush brush. This is my favorite concealer brush. We're just doing that really quick. Okay. And then just gonna grab a powder brush and just swipe this. Again, I know not everyone sets, you know, tinted hydrators, but I have to set everything with my oily skin. All right. Now that my foundation and concealer is set, we can move on to actually bringing life back into the face. So I recently picked this up. This is from L'Oreal. This is their True Match Lumi Bronze It. I love this. I had never tried this before. I was a little freaked out about it because, you know, I wasn't sure if it was going to be super glowy, super glittery, but it's not. It's just such a nice drugstore bronzer. So we're going to be using that today. This was the start of spring break. We're staying home. I have a lot of friends who had canceled vacations from last year for spring break, so that's what they're doing this year. But yeah, I mean, if I was gonna plan a spring break, I would have had to do it last fall, and we didn't know anything, you know, and I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. Of course, now, you know, I'm seeing a lot of my friends go away and I'm really super jealous, but it is what it is. We're going on a cute, a little mini vacation for Memorial Day. We're going to do some hiking. So at least I have that to look forward to. For blush, I picked up a few things. I picked up this Milani Cheek Kiss. This is a cream blush. I'm still working with this. I do like it, but I figured I would just use one of these e.l.f. face palettes. This is in Lychee. Figure we'll use that. Again, just trying to get a nice spring look. Nice. And then I figured I would just use the highlight from this face palette as well, this Lychee palette. So I've been impressed with these highlights from e.l.f. They're not super chunky or glittery. I am always just looking for a highlighter that is gonna give me a little glow, but is not gonna accentuate fine lines and texture, which I have plenty of. All right, so I thought long and hard about an eyeshadow palette for a nice spring look. You know, what would scream spring to me? And I picked this one up from ColourPop. Now, some people say ColourPop is not a drugstore brand since you can't pick it up at, you know, Walmart or Walgreens or CVS, but I always think of it as a drugstore brand because the pricing is so reasonable and it's very similar to what you would pay at the drugstore. So I picked this one up. This is called Blush Crush. This is definitely just their light pinks, and this just spoke to me about spring. So I'm gonna start with the color The One, and I'm just gonna put this all across my lid and my crease, just to give, you know, I do have eyeshadow primer on, but I just want to give something that's just going to even everything out before I go in with a more intense crease color. Now you can obviously use this as just your crease color. I tend to reach for a little darker crease colors to kind of deepen it. I really like deep eyeshadow. So next I am going to reach for this color Cheek to Cheek, and I'm going to put that in my crease. Perfect. And then I'm going to do the other eye. And this is just blending out nicely. I really like ColourPop's eyeshadow formula. It's just very easy to use. You don't get huge amounts of fallout. It blends really nice. It's not chalky at all. So I'm a big fan of this eyeshadow formula, and for the price, you just can't beat it. All right. All right. So next I'm going to move on to my outer V. I tend to like to put a darker color in my outer V again. It adds depth. You don't have to do that. You can just do this and put something on your lid, but that's what I tend to do. And I'm going to reach for this How Rouge color down here in the corner. This blush wine also would really look nice, but I think I'm going to reach for that one. So, and I'm just going to lay this down with a little bit of an angled brush here. And then I am going to blend it out with a blending brush, but just want to get a little depth into this outer V. Do the other eye. All right, so I'm just kind of patting it down, and now I'll blend it out. Just because I don't want a big line, you know, a big contrast delineation between these two colors. I just want it to blend more seamlessly. And again, that's what I love about ColourPop is there are definitely some brands where this is very hard to do and you have to sit here and blend. You feel like Dory, where you're just like, just keep blending, just keep blending. And this is pretty easy and seamless. Perfect. Oh my gosh, I love how that looks. All right, next I'm gonna do my lid. There's a few colors in here that look really nice, but I think I'm gonna pick this one called Enamored, this nice light pink. This is a spring look. You know, not everyone likes pink, you know, but in the spring I tend to reach for more pink. Even though pink is not my favorite color by far, I definitely feel more pink in the spring. Do the other eye. I'm really excited because I actually buried some bulbs this fall. I'm one of those people that usually just think about doing it, even buy them, and then they sit in my garage and I don't do anything with them. And then I'm angry because I start driving around in the spring and everyone bulbs are coming up and I don't have any. So I was really excited because I actually put bulbs out. So I'm gonna have tulips, which are one of my favorite flowers. I'm gonna have a bunch of tulips and they're just starting to come up. And I am so excited because I feel like I'm not left out this year. So again, I'm just blending. I don't wanna really accentuated line. All right. So I think that looks like a nice, like I said, spring look. We can absolutely add a little pop of color in our inner corner. I'm gonna use, they have a kind of shiny one called Pop the Bottle. I'm actually gonna use a more matte shade called Lovesick. And I am just gonna pop that onto my brow bone. Just to give a nice brow bone highlight. Just using a pencil brush to do this. And then I'm just gonna pop this into my inner corner. I just find that it tends to make me look a little bit more woken up. All right. Now I could use this for my lower eyelid. I don't want to put a lot of eyeliner in this look. I just grabbed for an oldie but a goodie. This is from Maybelline. This is just one of their dark brown eyeliners. I'm just going to put this just a little bit on my lower, just to add a little something. Perfect. For mascara, I picked up the L'Oreal Bambi Eye mascara. Sorry, that's like really bright. I had never tried this. I had heard good things about it, but I had actually never tried it. So I figured we would try it. Thought I would try to give my lashes a little oomph. Again, I'm gonna do this off camera, so give me a second and we'll get back. All right, so mascara is on. I had never used this before, so I'm gonna see how it wears throughout the day, and I will give you an update on my favorites and fails for this month to kind of tell you how I feel about it. So far, so good. It was very easy to go on. It provided some nice thickening of my eyelashes, so we'll just have to see how it wears throughout the day because I cannot handle mascara that flakes or smears. And then last but not least, let's move on to lips. So I picked up this from Maybelline. This is their Color Sensational in the color Born With It. You can see this is, again, just a nice pink. I just thought it would be fun to pick something like this up. I also picked up a lip liner from Maybelline. This is, again, the Color Sensational, and this is in color Pink Wink. This is kind of a gel lip liner, so I'd never used this, so I figured I would try, but I just kind of wanted to stay with this nice spring pink look. So obviously this goes on really nice. It's a gel. All right, and now to lipstick. Definitely more pink than I usually wear, but again, it's about trying different things and trying to see if I can find something that I like. So I actually love the way this feels. It is not sticky, it is not drying, and it went on very easily. So I love Maybelline lipsticks. I've had good luck with their lip crayons, their liquid lipsticks. So I'm excited to try the Color Sensational. So I'm gonna take my hair down and we can see the finished look. So now we can see the finished look. I have to tell you, I am in love with this. I am on the huge hunt and trying all these different tinted hydrators. If you've watched my earlier videos, you know I'm a big fan of the Tarte tinted hydrator, but this is, this is $5.99 and this is a great alternative. I love the finish. I love that it's not too glowy. It was easy going on, so I'll have to see how it wears throughout the day, but I am in love. I think this is a great drugstore alternative. Obviously this is an OG. I love this. This is one of my favorite powders. Other new products that I tried today, again, this No. 7 Airbrush Away. I really like this as long as the smell doesn't bug you. I think it's a really good mattifying primer, which is necessary in my life. And I am in love with this bronzer, this Lumi Bronze It. I am just so happy I picked this up. I was very nervous about it, but I'm so happy I picked it up. The e.l.f. face palettes, I think these are really, really good. And then we'll see how my lips do, but so far so good with these. Again, a little more pink than I'm used to, but at the same time, that's the whole point, right? In spring, it's always nice to pick up something that we're not used to using. And this Blush Crush, in love. Now, again, is this as vibrant of colors that you a lot of times see from ColourPop? No, but I really like it. I think this is, again, this is, when I think about spring, this is kind of the color story that I think about. And then this Bambi Eye mascara, so far so good. I'll have to see how it wears throughout the day, but I really did like it going on. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your comments below. Have you tried any of these new drugstore finds? And I hope you stick around if you're interested in beauty made simple for women over 40. I would love for you to watch my other videos. I would love for you to hit that like button and subscribe below. And I hope to see you again in another video. Bye, you guys.